After the Civil War ended in 1865, the United States faced a difficult question. How do you rebuild a nation that has just torn itself apart? This period became known as Reconstruction, and Americans quickly disagreed about how it should be done. In Congress, one group in particular, known as the Radical Republicans, believed the South had to be fundamentally transformed. They argued that the former Confederate states should not be treated as equal partners returning to the Union, but as conquered provinces. From their perspective, the South had rebelled and lost. That meant Congress, not the Southern states, should decide the terms of rebuilding. To enforce this, the federal government placed the South under military control, dividing it into districts overseen by Union troops. These troops weren't just there to keep order. They were there to enforce civil rights and voting rights, especially for newly freed African Americans. At the time, these policies were considered extremely radical. But today, the idea of guaranteeing equal rights under the law may not seem radical at all. It raises an important question. If these policies had fully succeeded, if they had been permanently enforced, would America's long struggle over racial equality have taken a different path? At the same time, critics argued that using the military to control the South was harsh, even oppressive. But consider the situation. Many white Southerners refused to accept the results of the war, or the end of slavery. From that perspective, federal enforcement may have seemed not just justified, but necessary. Under this system, new governments were created in the South. These governments were made up of three main groups. First were the carpetbaggers, Northerners who moved south after the war, often seen by locals as opportunists. Second were the scalawags, white Southerners who supported Reconstruction, often viewed as traitors by their neighbors. And third, the largest and most important group, were African Americans. For the first time in American history, formerly enslaved people were voting, holding office, and helping shape government. This was a revolutionary moment. But it also meant that these governments depended entirely on one thing: the protection of voting rights. And when that protection began to disappear, so did Reconstruction itself. Groups like the Ku Klux Klan used intimidation and violence to prevent African Americans from voting. Over time, this made it impossible to sustain these governments. By the late 1870s, Reconstruction had effectively ended, and the South entered the era of Jim Crow, where racial segregation and discrimination would dominate for nearly a century. But before these so-called radicals were able even to attempt to create such governments, there was a competing vision for Reconstruction, led by the president. Abraham Lincoln had proposed a relatively lenient plan, known as the 10% Plan, which would allow Southern states to rejoin the Union once a small percentage of voters swore loyalty. In contrast, the radicals in Congress proposed the Wade-Davis Bill, which demanded much stricter requirements, but Lincoln vetoed it. After Lincoln's assassination, his successor, Andrew Johnson, claimed he was just continuing Lincoln's approach. Johnson opposed many of the radical Republicans' efforts, vetoing key laws like the Freedmen's Bureau and the Civil Rights Act. But Congress overrode those vetoes, and conflict between the president and Congress escalated. Eventually, Johnson was impeached. He avoided removal from office by just one vote, but his power was effectively broken. Meanwhile, events in the South were making one thing increasingly clear: leniency alone was not working. Southern states passed black codes, laws designed to limit the freedom of African Americans and recreate conditions as close to slavery as possible. This resistance raised a question that historians still debate. If Lincoln had lived, would he have continued to favor lenient Reconstruction, or would he have shifted toward the more forceful approach taken by Congress once it became apparent that the South was going to continue to be defiant? We can't know for sure, but what we do know is this. Reconstruction was one of the most ambitious and most contested efforts to redefine American society, and its successes and failures would shape the country for generations to come.